Okay, so in case of interest rate hedging, we are dealing with what? Dealing it with the transaction between bank and the customer, between bank and customer, correct? Where customer has taken loan from the bank and customer is worried about the interest rates that will fluctuate. Okay, so interest rate fluctuations, that is the worry for our customer. Okay, so here we are not concerned with fixed rate fluctuation. Okay, we are not much concerned with fixed rate fluctuation. Our concern will be majoritarily for variable interest rate and semi-variable interest rate. Okay, if the rate of interest is fixed, then the customer need not worry about interest rate fluctuation. Okay, only in case of variable interest rate and semi-variable interest rate, the fluctuation will matter. In real life, everywhere the rate of interest that we will get is always going to be semi-variable. Okay, we neither get fully fixed interest rate nor do we get fully variable interest rate. Okay, the interest rate is always semi-variable. Okay, for example, if you take a home loan, I'll just take a simple example first. Okay, if you take a home loan in India, okay, what is the interest rate? Interest rate is somewhere around 8.3%. Interest rate is 8.3%. How do you read this 8.3%? If you see the contract, okay, if you see the loan agreement or loan contract, it is written as MCLR, okay, MCLR plus 2.3%. Means what? MCLR is decided by the government, it is decided by the central bank of the country. So in India, MCLR is decided by RBI, and that 2.3%, okay, is the additional rate. Okay, so this 2.3% keeps on fluctuating. This 2.3% will keep on fluctuating. Okay, and MCLR is generally fixed. MCLR is generally fixed. Once in 4 years, MCLR changes. Okay, so that we don't need to worry. MCLR we don't need to worry, but this 2.3% keeps on changing. So now before this COVID, people must have taken loan, right? They must have taken loan for what? MCLR plus 2.3%. Okay, now after COVID, what the government is going to do? Government is going to reduce the interest rate. Okay, so what they will reduce? They will not reduce the MCLR, they will reduce this 2.3%. so maybe they will make it what? 1.9%. correct? So MCLR is 6%, okay, plus 1.9%. So the new interest rate will be 7.9%. correct? So that is called as your semi-variable interest rate. In ACC also, since we are studying about European countries, okay, what is the semi-variable interest rate? It will be LIBOR plus basis points. LIBOR plus basis points. Okay, just like in India we have MCLR plus percentage, basic percentage. In European countries we have LIBOR or Eurobor, correct? That is your London interbank offer rate. LIBOR plus basis points. Okay, so we are going to hedge against this. We are generally going to hedge against this LIBOR plus basis points. Okay, so let us start then. So first method, so methods of interest rate hedging. Methods of interest rate hedging. Okay, first is very simple, FRA, and second is also very simple, IRG, or we can say, or also called as options over FRA. Okay, these two are very basic methods. They might come for 2 marks, not more than that. They will not come for more than 2 marks. Okay, let us start with FRA. So interest rate hedging is very scoring. Many students have this psychological block that interest rate hedging is very tough. Actually, it is very easy. Okay, because since you already know about futures and options, the same logic we can use for your interest rate futures, correct, and interest rate options. Same logic we can use and we can do it. Okay, first let us focus on FRA and options over FRA. So first method, forward rate agreement. Okay, FRA is nothing but your forward rate agreement. FRA is the forward rate agreement. As the name suggests, it will be just like our forward contract. Okay, it will be just like our forward contract. So in forward contract, what used to happen? Two parties. Okay, now who will be the two parties? It will be the bank and the customer. Okay, not buyer and seller now. So two parties, bank and customer, pre-decide an interest rate. Okay, and now pay attention now. In forward contract, that pre-decided rate was for one specific date, right? It was for only single date settlement date. Okay, but here interest rate will be pre-decided for a specific period. It will be pre-decided for a specific period. Okay, it will not be for a particular date, it will be for a particular period. Okay, and then what will happen? Irrespective of the market interest rate, parties will have to stick to the FRA. Okay, the parties will have to stick to the FRA. Okay, so now let us see how to read an forward rate agreement. Okay, in the problem they will give company has entered into 3-7 FRA 4%/6% with the bank for the purpose with the bank. Just let us read till here. With the bank, how do you read this? What is the meaning of this? Company has entered into 3-7 FRA 4%/6% with the bank. So now first thing, it is 4%/6%. We know that bank is always the winner. If bank is always the winner, what is 4%? What is 6%? Lower rate will be what? Lower rate will be the deposit rate. If we deposit money, bank will give us interest rate at 4%. If we deposit money, bank will give interest rate at 4%. And higher rate is always going to be the borrowing rate. If we borrow money from the bank, we'll get the loan at 6% interest rate and not at 4% interest rate. Okay, so the rate thing is done. Now let us understand what this 3-7 means. Okay, it means our agreement will cover a period, okay, from third month to the 7th month. It will cover a period from the third month to the 7th month. Okay, so it has entered into 3-7. 3-7 means what? My FRA will start after 3 months. Okay, and it will continue till 7 months. It will continue till 7 months. Okay, so that is the meaning of FRA. So from the end of the third month, from end of the third month to the 7th month. Is this clear? How to read an FRA agreement? Okay, let us see that. Correct. So from the third month to the 7th month, these rates will be applicable. Okay, for this period, only for this period, these rates will be applicable. Only for this period, these rates will be applicable. Okay, otherwise we will take the market interest rate. Otherwise, for all other months, we'll take the market interest rate. Okay, so let us do one simple problem on FRA. The company has entered or let us do this. The company is expecting surplus in 3 months time, and therefore it has entered into FRA 4-7 with the bank. FRA 4-7, I'll give the interest rate also. FRA 4-7, 6%/8% with the bank, where FRA begins at start of the month. Start of the month. So they will give you whether it is at the start of the month or it is at the end of the month. Okay, they will give you that. Okay. The market interest rate, oops, this is not 65, this is 6%. Market interest rate is 7.2%. Calculate the gain or loss company has incurred due to entering into FRA. If the contract amount, okay, contract amount can be for the loan as well as it can be for the deposit. Okay, the contract amount is $1 million. Do it then. Try this question. The company is expecting surplus in 3 months time, and therefore it has entered into FRA 4-7, 6%/8% with the bank, where FRA begins at the start of the month. Okay, FRA begins at the start of the month. And during this period, this entire period, market interest rate is 7.2%. Calculate gain or loss company has incurred due to entering into FRA. Tell me the answer. This is a very basic question. Huh? Okay, loss of, let us see. So we are expecting a surplus. So what we'll do? We'll deposit the money. So what will be the interest rate? It will be lower rate, that is we'll get at 6%. Okay. And since we have already entered into FRA, we cannot take the market interest rate. Okay. Since FRA has been entered into, company cannot have the market interest rate. Okay. So it would have received if FRA was not entered. Okay. How much it would have received? $1 million into 7.2%. Correct. And into for how many months? 4, 5, 6, 7. For 4 months. Correct. So into 4/12. This it would have received if FRA was not entered. But since FRA is entered, now how much it will receive? It will receive only $1 million into 6% into 4/12. So in short, it has lost how much? It has lost $1 million into 1.2%. Correct, into 4/12. That is the loss. correct? $4,000. $4,000 is the loss due to FRA. Due to FRA. Okay. Now, in the same problem, if the company is expecting deficit, then to overcome the deficit, we would have borrowed the money, correct? If you had borrowed the money, we would have borrowed at 8%. FRA would be 8%, correct? Okay. Now, let us move on to the next concept of FRA. In the exam, you will be expecting question like this. Okay. In the exam, you will be expecting a question like this. Let us see. Let us see. Stone Company's yield curve has been calculated as follows. Year 1, year 2, year 3, individual yield curve is given 3.96, 4.25, 4.56. This means that Stone Company will have to pay interest of 3.96 if it wants to borrow money for 1 year, 4.25 it wants to borrow money for second year, and so on. Stone Company wants to borrow money in 2 years time for a period of 1 year. Okay. So now pay attention. Stone Company wants to borrow money in 2 years time. So after 2 years, it wants to borrow money after 2 years for a period of 1 year. Means FRA will not be 2-3. FRA is always in months. FRA is always in months. So if you take 2-3, it will be in months. It wants to borrow after 2 years. So in months, it should be what? 24-36. So if you understood this part. Okay. Stone Company wants to borrow money in 2 years time. So after end of 2 years, so 2 into 12, 24 months. And for a period of 1 year, so 1 into 12, 24 plus 12, 36 months. So using the company's spot yield information quoted above, calculate the rate of interest the bank would quote for a 24/36 FRA. Okay. So see here, they have given FRA 24/36. Okay. But they have not given the interest rate. Okay. Interest rate you guys will have to calculate depending upon the above information of the yield curve. If the market rate during this period is 5.28%, how much is the profit or loss for the company? So they have given market interest rate. Okay. They have given FRA 24/36, but they have not given the rate of FRA. Okay. So the borrowing rate of FRA they have not given. So for that, you have to use the yield curve and calculate the interest rate. Okay. So first try calculating the interest rate. Let us see if you can do it. I want to borrow money after end of 2 years, correct? And I want to borrow the money for 1 year. So this is how your AFM questions will be. They will tell you to calculate the FRA, okay? But they will not tell you the actual interest rate of FRA. And they will give you the market rate for comparison. Okay. So let us understand this. I'll open up an Excel sheet. Okay, so what they have given? They have given us year 1 to 3, year 1 2 3, and they have given us the returns. They are given us the returns 3.96, 3.96%, then 4.25, 4.25%, and 4.56%, 4.56%. Okay, the company wants to borrow money after 2 years for 1 year, correct? That is FRA 24-36. This is what they have given. This is what they have given in the problem. Okay, but for this they have not given what should be the interest rate. They have not given what should be the interest rate. And for this period, they have given the market interest rate. They have given is 5.8% if FRA was not entered. FRA was not entered. That they have given. Understood the question? Okay. So first thing I want to calculate is what is the FRA interest rate. First thing I want to calculate is what is the FRA interest rate. Okay. So interest rate I have to calculate for what years? I have to calculate between second and third year. I have to calculate the interest rate between second and third year, because I want for after 2 years for 1 year, right? I want interest rate after 2 years for 1 year. Okay. So difference between these two, 4.25 and 4.56, will be what? So that is the difference between, I'll write over here. So that is the difference between return of second year and return of third year. Correct? That is what I'm going to look at. Okay, but the returns are always in geometric progression. Okay, the returns are always in geometric progression. Means what? 1 plus return of the second year. Pay attention, this is important. 1 plus return of the second year means what? 1 plus return raised to 2. Okay, into 1 plus interest rate. 1 plus interest rate or inflation rate, whatever you get, equals to what? Equals to 1 plus return raised to 3 years, right? A square into A will give me A cube, correct? So I have done nothing but A square into A is equal to A cube. So similarly, instead of A square, what I'm going to write? 1 plus return of the second year. So 1 plus return raised to 2 into 1 plus interest rate, and this interest rate will nothing but what? Will be our FRA interest rate. Will give me 1 plus return raised to 3. See if you understood this part. Okay, so that will be equal to 1 plus R. 1 plus what is the rate of interest for second year? 4.25%, right? So 0.0425. Okay, and it will be raised to 2. Okay, we'll add the equal to sign later on in the next line, right? Into 1 plus I. 1 plus I will be equal to what? Will be equal to 1 plus what is the return of the third year? 4.56%, right? So 0.0456 raised to 3. Okay. So that will be 1.0868 into 1 plus I should be equal to 1.1431, correct? So now take this over here. So that will be 1 plus I equal to 1 plus I is equal to 1 point this amount divided by 1.0518. 1 plus I is 0.18. So I is equal to 1.05 this amount minus 1, 0.5128, or we can say interest rate is equal to 5.1828%, or interest rate is 5.18%. So FRA interest rate, now we have got the FRA interest rate. This interest rate was not given, huh? So now we have got the FRA interest rate. So we have entered into agreement of borrowing, right? We have borrowed the money. Okay. So FRA interest rate is 5.18%, 5.18%, correct? While market interest rate is how much? Market interest rate is 5.28%, right? If the market interest rate during this period is 5.28%, so have I gained or lost? I have borrowed money, right? So for borrowing money, market interest rate was 5.28, but I had already entered into 5.18. So I have gained. Correct? Profit. Profit of what? It will be 5.28 minus 5.18. So 0.10% of the loan amount. That will be my gain. That will be my profit. That will be my profit. Okay. This is how they will ask in the exam. Correct? They will not give you FRA interest rate. They will not give you FRA interest rate. So see if you have understood how we calculated that FRA interest rate. See if you understood that. So the info which was given and what we calculate are logically the borrowing interest rate. Yes, they are the borrowing interest rate because we are borrowing the money, right? Since we are borrowing the money, it is the borrowing interest rate. See, bank and the company are pre-deciding the interest rate, right? This 5.18%, this 5.18% they wanted to pre-decide. So what the bank will do? Bank will say, get us your last 3 years returns. Okay, get us your last 3 years returns. Okay, and on basis of that, okay, on the basis of that, what we are going to do? We are going to calculate an interest rate which we can offer you. Okay, or it can be the other way around also. They will say, get us your predicted returns of the next 3 years. Okay, get us your predicted returns of the next 3 years. Okay, so between second and third year, you are expecting growth of what? 4.25 to 4.56. Means you are expecting a growth of 5.18%. Correct? So what we are going to do? We are going to just give you that interest rate. We are going to just give you that interest rate. Okay. Don't forget to do it raised to 2 and raised to 3, because it is after 2 years and after 3 years. Okay, so doubt is what if we have to calculate both together in the sum? The information will be given separately for both. Yes, they will give the information separately for both of them. Okay. Understood FRA concept? Okay, so both type of FRA sums we have seen, the simple one which will not be asked, and this AFM level question where FRA rate is not going to be given to you. Okay, now simple thing, second method. Second method is what? Interest rate guarantee. Interest rate guarantee, or we'll also call it as what? Or also called as options over FRA. Now you guys will tell me, what will that mean? Okay, options over FRA means what? Who has the option, company or bank? Who will get the option? Company, correct. Company will get the option, to choose between what rates? Choose between what rates? One will be your FRA rate, pre-decided rate, correct? And second will be what? Correct, market rate, market interest rate, whichever is beneficial. Okay, whichever is beneficial. For surplus, higher rate will be beneficial. For borrowing, lower rate will be beneficial. So company will get the option to choose between these rate. But for that, what the company will have to do? Company will have to pay premium. Correct, pay premium on what date? On agreement date itself. On agreement date itself to the bank. Now guys, pay attention. Huh? The rates will be calculated per month wise. Huh? Rates will be calculated per month. If the agreement is for 3 months, so into 3 by 12. Agreement is for 7 months, so into 7 by 12. But premium is a one-time payment. One-time payment, correct? Not to be calculated in months. Okay. And again, this premium will be what? Premium will be on loan amount, and not on the interest amount. Okay, it will be on loan amount and it will be non-refundable. Done. That's it. That is your option over FRA. Okay, so company will get the option to choose between FRA rate, that is the pre-decided rate, or market rate, whichever is beneficial. Okay, so for surplus it will be the higher one. Okay, so for surplus, higher, surplus equal to higher, correct. And for borrowing we'll choose the lower. For borrowing we'll choose lower. Okay, and company will have to pay premium on agreement date. Premium is one-time payment, not to be calculated in months, and premium will be on loan amount, not on interest amount, and it will be non-refundable. Okay, so example company has entered into IRG 4-7 months, 4%/6%. So the concept is same. For a surplus it had of $1 million, for surplus it had of $1 million. Okay, the premium is 0.1% of the contract amount. So they will just say premium is 0.1%. They will not say of what amount. Okay, if the market rate is 4.89%, okay, should the company exercise the IRG or let it lapse? Okay, and what will be the net amount payable/receivable on such IRG? Do it then. Simple question. Okay, company should exercise the option, right? Because it is a surplus. It is a sure. Company should exercise the option. Surplus. So what rate will get? So IRG will be at 4%, right? The lower rate. IRG will be at 4%. And what is the market interest rate? Market rate is 4.89%. So should I take 4% or should I take 4.89%? I am taking a surplus. Surplus means what? Deposit. I am going to deposit money. So I want higher rate. Company will choose higher rate. If it's choosing higher rate, that is, it is choosing market rate. If it's choosing market rate, it is lapsing the IRG. Correct? It is lapsing the IRG. Okay. So what will my interest will be received or paid? It will be received since it is a deposit. Interest will be received. How much interest will be received? $1 million. $1 million into which rate now? 4.89%. Even though we are entered into IRG, we can still take the higher rate. Into how many months? 4, 5, 6, 7, 4 months. 4 by 12. Okay, but premium will be paid. Premium will be paid. How much will be the premium paid? It will be $1 million. $1 million into 0.1%. Don't do into 4 by 12. Don't do into 4 by 12. Okay. So how much this comes out to? So 16,300 is the receipt income. This will be income, right? Because I have deposited money. And this will be the expenses. I have paid money, correct? So that will be how much? Into 0.1%. 1,000 will be the expense. Okay, so the net will be what? Net will be received. Net received amount will be, oops, this is expenses 1,000, right? Net received amount will be 15,300. Gunesh, can you check your answer? How come 2.295 million? It is $1 million, right? Contract. Okay, so company will let it lapse. Company will let it lapse, and it will receive a net amount of 15,300. Okay, next. Okay, okay. So see, in case of IRG, there is no concept of profit, right? There is no concept of profit. Okay, I will choose whichever is better for me. So I'll always choose the profitable one. Okay, I'll always either try to minimize my loss or maximize my income. That is the benefit of IRG. Okay, next. So let us do the next one. So in exam, what they will do, they will give a problem and they will ask you which is better. Okay, they will give a problem and they will ask you which is better. Is FRA better or is IRG better? Let us solve this sum. RJI company wishes to invest $12 million in 6 months time for 2 months. Okay, in 6 months time for 2 months means, tell me, FRA should be what? 6 months time for 2 months means FRA should be what? 2-8, 6-8, 7-9, 3-9. What should be the FRA? 6-8, correct? It is in 6 months time for 2 months. So it will begin after 6 months and it will continue for 2 months. Okay. And considering the following hedging strategies, a 6-8 FRA quoted at 4%, okay, and an IRG at 4% for a premium of 0.1%. Okay, so now guys pay attention. Huh? This 6-8 FRA does not mean 6 months, 7 months, and 8 months. Pay attention, 6 months time. So they have given after 6 months. Okay, so see in the problem you will understand how to read the FRA. Okay, otherwise what we would have taken 6, 7, 8, we would have taken 3 months, correct? But it is not like that. 6-8 means what? Here they are saying after the end of 6 months. So it is only 7 and 8 months. So it is only 2 months. It will not be 3 months. Understood this? Okay. And considering the following hedging strategies, 6-8 FRA quoted at 4%, okay, and IRG at 4% for a premium of 0.1%. Okay. Required, determine the cost if in 6 months time the market rate is A 5% and B 3%, and comment. So they have given two questions. If market rate is 5%, which is better? Okay, is FRA better or IRG better? And if second question, if the market rate is 3%, which is better? FRA is better or IRG is better? Okay, solve both the questions and tell me the answer. So do it separately for 5%. So if market rate is 5%, market rate is 5%, which is better, and then market rate is 3%, which is better. So FRA, IRG, FRA and IRG. Okay, so FRA doesn't matter whatever is the market rate, right? FRA will always remain same. FRA will be what? 12 million into FRA will always be at 4%, right? So 12 million into 4%, 4%, and don't do 3 by 12, huh? So into 2 by 12. Okay, and premium is 0. In case of FRA, there is no premium. Correct? So may it be 5%, may it be 3%. FRA always remains same. Okay. In case of IRG, what we have done, we have a surplus, right? Wishes to invest $12 million. Company wishes to invest $12 million. So we have a surplus. Okay. So for surplus, what rate will take? We'll take the, in case of this, will lapse the IRG and take the higher rate. Okay. So that will be 12 million into 5% into 2 by 12. Okay, but premium, I'll have to pay premium of how much? 0.1% of 12 million. So 12 million into 0.1%. Okay, so net received will be what? Net received will be interest minus premium. Here also interest minus premium. Okay, so which is better? In first case, FRA gives me 0.08 million, whereas IRG gives me, even after premium payment, IRG gives me higher amount. So IRG is better. Correct? And here what will happen if market rate is 3%? I'll exercise my IRG and I'll take it as what? I'll take it as 12 million into 4%, 4% into 2 by 12. Okay, but I'll have to already pay the premium. I'll have to still pay the premium. So premium will be what? Premium will be same amount. Okay, so here net received will be what? Net received will be, and here my net received is reduce. If market rate is 3%, why will I go with 3%? I already IRG of 4%, right? So I will what? I'll exercise my IRG and I'll go with 4%. IRG I have the option to choose. IRG I have the option to choose. Okay. So here which is better? Here FRA is better. FRA is better. See if I understood this part. Okay. So what is our comment then? Okay. When market rate of interest starts to increase, what will happen? IRG will be better, since we can recover our premium payment and still receive more than FRA. Correct? But when market rate of interest is not that high, it will be difficult to recover the premium. It will be difficult to recover the premium and still make more than FR. That is a comment you need to put. Okay. Okay, clear how to write the comments also. So this will be not more than 4 marks. Huh? This kind of a sum will not be for more than 4 marks. Maybe 2-3 marks, not even 4 marks. Okay, so our first two methods are done. FRA and options over FRA is done. Okay, that is very basic. That is very basic. Now let us go to the AFM main AFM level questions. That is your interest rate future. Okay. So first let me explain what is interest rate future, and then we, if time permits, we'll solve one sum also. Okay. So next is interest rate future. Whenever I say future, it becomes what? It becomes a regulated contract. Okay. So no problem till here, na? Till FR and IRG, no problem, right? You understood this? Okay. So interest rate future, whenever I say futures or whenever I say options contract, option over FRA was not an options contract. Huh? It is just the option that bank was giving me. Okay. But interest rate futures and options over IRF will be regulated contracts. They will be your regulated contracts. So whenever I say regulated contract, there will be what? There will be involvement of a governing body. Involvement of governing body. Correct. So now the contract will be between whom? Contract will still be between company and bank. Company and bank. Okay, now guys pay attention. Huh? Contract will still be between company and bank, and the company will also enter into a futures contract with stock exchange. Correct. It will also enter a futures contract with stock exchange for the purpose of what? For hedging against the market interest rate fluctuation. Correct. So in short, see what the company is going to do. Company is entering into two contracts. Company is entering into two contracts. First is your loan contract. Okay. And loan contract, there will be no FRA, there will be no IRG. Okay. So loan contract, this loan contract will be at what? It will be at market interest rate. This loan contract will be at market interest rate. Okay. So they have not entered into FRA, they have not entered into IRG. So in this first contract, can I say there is no hedging? There is no hedging, right? The first contract will still be between company and bank. That is your loan contract at market interest rate. So no hedging. And second contract will be with whom? Second contract will be with the stock exchange. It is a futures contract with the stock exchange. Okay. And here what they will do? Okay. The company will go for hedging. Okay. So here company will open and close the position with the exchange depending upon interest rates in the market. Okay, so here we are actually going for what? Here we are actually going for hedging. Okay, so first contract's risk will be hedged by second contract. First contract's risk will be hedged by the second contract. So if you understood till here, write down if you want. Okay, so now again can we say it will be similar to our futures contract of forex? Okay, opening the position, so we'll have to decide whether to buy futures, sell futures. So that logic will use it now. Okay, that logic will use it now. So let us see. So opening and closing the futures, opening and closing the future position, opening and closing the future position. Okay, so first If company is borrowing, in the first contract, company is borrowing, correct? In the second contract, what will it do? Should it buy futures or should it sell futures? If company is borrowing means what? It is already buying in the first contract. If company is borrowing from the bank, it is already buying the money, correct? It is like buying the money from the bank. So if it has bought in the first contract, in the second contract, what will it do? Company will open the position by selling the futures to the exchange, correct? Because we want to counter the contract with the bank. So if with the bank, if you have borrowed the money, that is you have bought the money, okay, with the exchange, what we'll do? We'll sell futures to open the position and buy back futures to close the position. Fair enough? Okay. That is your for borrowing. That is for borrowing. Correct. And if the company is depositing money, so here, if company deposits money means what? Gives the money to the bank. If it gives the money means what? It is going to sell the money and get interest rate. Sell the money. So if in the first transaction, if it is selling the money, in the second transaction, what will do? To counter it, company will open the position by buying the futures contract, and close by selling the futures. So if you understood this. Okay, and this profit or loss from opening and closing position will be what? Will be used to offset the risk of market interest rate fluctuation. So if you understood opening and closing the future position, isn't it a little bit similar to our futures contract? If you have any issues with understanding the logic, ask me. See if this is logically understood. See the logic behind this. So if you are logically understood this. And guys, pay attention, huh? Pay attention. This will be all notional, huh? The actual first one will be what? First one will be your actual borrowing the money, and this second contract is notional contract. We are not going to actually pay the entire money. So like in a shares demat account, what do? You don't pay for the entire amount, right? You only pay the profit or loss. So here also we'll only pay the profit or loss on exchange. So it is like an opening a notional position with the futures and closing the notional position. After opening and closing, whatever with the actual profit or loss, only that money will be paid or received from the exchange. because it will not make sense. Guys, pay attention. If I borrow money from bank and if I deposit money with the exchange, okay, then I would have borrowed for my machinery, right? I would have borrowed machine for the machinery, borrowed money for the machinery. Then I have borrowed the machine, borrowed the money, purchased the machine. Okay. Now when I open the position by selling the futures, I don't have money to sell the futures, right? I don't have money to deposit. Okay. So it is done only on notional basis. Okay. Is this clear till here? Opening and closing the position. Should I move ahead? Okay. Now, again, if we are dealing with interest rate futures, we'll have to follow the steps by the exchange. We'll have to follow the steps by the exchange. Okay. Now you guys will tell me, you guys will tell me the steps one by one. Okay. It is similar to your futures contract. It is similar to the futures contract. So step one. What is step one? Step one will be open the position, right? Open the position. Correct. Step one will be open the position. How will you open the position? That we have just seen. If you are borrowing money, then open the position by selling futures. And if you are depositing the money, then open the position by buying the futures. Okay, so step one will be done. Step one will be done. Step two will be what? Correct, number of contracts. Because here also exchange will decide how much money will have to do it in your futures contract. Number of contracts. So what is the formula for number of contracts? It will be your contract amount. So here it will be either your loan amount or deposit amount. Correct. So I'll just write contract amount. Contract amount. Correct. Divided by what? Contract size. Because here also contract will give me the contract size. But now we don't need to worry about conversion from dollar to pound, pound to dollar, because we are not dealing with foreign exchange. We are dealing with what? We are dealing with only our home currency. So contract amount and contract size will be always in the same currency. But guys, pay attention. Pay attention. It can be a problem that the stock exchange says the contract size is only for 4 months. The contract size is only for 4 months, but I have taken a loan of 5 months. That can be the case, right? Okay. So into what I'll have to do? Into your contract period divided by your exchange period. That you will have to do. So if you understood this, contract amount divided by contract size, that will be for the amounts. Okay. But since the interest rate future is for a specific period, it can happen that loan I have taken for 5 months, but exchange says that futures are only for 4 months. So into 5 by 4, I'll have to do it. Okay. Correct. This into this amount, into this you'll have to do only if loan period and exchange period are different. Okay. But see, even if they are different, now you just do 3 by 3, 4 by 4. Even if they are different, you will have to do into 3 by 3 into 4 by 4. Okay. So that the examiner knows that you have not got the answer correct by mistake. Okay. You know what to do. Okay. So coincidentally, your answer is correct. That is not the case. So step 2 will be number of contracts. Okay. Now here one more step will insert. Step 3 will be choose the expiry month. That you already know. Okay. But here we'll have to tell the exchange Because interest rate future is not for one particular date, right? It is not for one particular date. Okay, we want it for what? We want for the whole period. So we have to choose the expiry month, not the expiry date. Okay, so choose the expiry month that you already know, whichever is closer, whichever is closer, whichever is closer. Okay, now once you have done that, okay, what is the doubt? If the contract is 3-7, then how do we choose? See, then what we'll do, we'll see that it is for 4 months, right? Okay, so 4 months from agreement date, 4 months from agreement date means what? That period. So for example, my agreement date, let us say my agreement date is 4th Jan. Okay, agreement date is 4th Jan. I have entered into IRF. I have entered into IRF for 4 months. Okay. Okay, and they have given me futures for, so that is Jan, Feb, March, April, May. So they have given me futures for May, and they have given me futures for, let us say, July. So which one I'll choose? Obviously I'll choose the May one, because May is the closer to my expiry. Okay, so same logic that we use for futures contract, we did the same thing, right? When two periods are given, we have to choose between those two periods, whichever is the closer period, that we'll have to choose. Okay, now since this is a futures contract, guys, pay attention. Since this is a future contract, any future contract, what we have to do? We have to pay the initial margin. So here also we'll pay the initial margin. Okay, so till here all the steps are same, correct? Till here all the steps are same. Open the position, number of contracts, choose the expiry period, and pay the initial margin. Just you have to take care, okay, that you have to multiply by this, because contract period and exchange period can be different. Okay, and instead of expiry date, you are choosing the expiry month. Okay, so till step 4 everything is same. Step 5 will be what? Close the position. Step 5, close the position, correct, and calculate profit or loss. Now this is the most important step, guys. This is very, very important. Okay, so we have to close the position and calculate profit or loss. Okay, now since this is for loan amount, what will happen? The exchange will have a kind of a tick value. Okay, tick size, tick value. Okay, and that we have to take into consideration. Okay, so profit or loss equal to ticks per contract, okay, into tick value. Let me explain, and into number of contracts, as per step 2. Okay, so let us understand what is this ticks per contract, where ticks per contract, ticks means what? Difference. Ticks is nothing but the difference. Okay, but that difference I'll have to take for the face value. So that will be difference between opening and closing position, okay, into face value, because ticks per contract will be for the entire contract. Okay, it will be for the entire contract. So profit or loss you calculate, profit or loss will be what? Difference between opening and closing position. But that profit or loss, I want what? I want for face value, I want for the contract value. So that's why we call it as ticks per contract. We'll not call it as contract face value. Okay, we'll call it as ticks per contract. Okay, and so that is ticks per contract. That is the first thing we wanted. What is the second thing we wanted? We wanted tick value. Tick value is pre-decided. Okay, tick value is pre-decided by the exchange. Okay, it is pre-decided by the exchange. Okay, that is your contract size. Contract size into contract period and into 0.01%. That 0.01% is pre-decided by stock exchange. Any country, it can be any country, it is always going to be 0.01%. Okay, that is the charge, that is kind of a charge that your exchange is going to levy. Okay, so first calculate ticks per contract, then calculate ticks value, and your profit or loss will be what? Ticks per contract into tick value into number of contracts. So if you understood this is the most important part in IRF. Because see, in your futures, when you calculated the profit, that profit or loss was for what? That profit or loss was dollar per pound or pound per dollar, and you can easily make out that how much pounds, how much dollars we had used. Okay, but here it is not that case. Here we'll have to calculate as per the face value of the contract and as per the contract size. Write this down, write this formula down. And this will not be given in the problem. They will not give you tick value. Tick value is 0.01%. They will not give that to you. Okay. Face value, they will not give you the face value. You have to understand how much will be the face value. If it is around, let us say 95, 96, face value is 100. If it is around, let us say 152, 153, face value is 150. Correct. If it is around, let us say 989, sorry, it is around say 993, 994, face value is 1000. Okay. But generally face value will be around 100 or 150. It will not be in thousands. And then step 5 will be what? Your final contract amount that you already know. So step 6 will be your contract amount. Contract amount is simple. First is your actual interest paid or received. Interest paid or received. Correct? Interest paid or received as per the market rate. As per the market interest rate. Here there is no hedging. Correct? And this fluctuation will be hedged by what? Profit or loss as per step 5. Step. Okay, so we'll quickly solve one sum. So tomorrow we can focus on collars. Options and collars will focus on tomorrow then. See if this is understood till here. If there is any doubt, you can ask me. Let us check them. Let us do this question. Okay, I sent the file on the Zoom itself. Okay, there is some problem with my WhatsApp. I don't know what the problem is. So I sent the file on the Zoom app, and I opened it also here. I opened it up here as well. Let us see then. So assume that today is 25th of January. A company is going to borrow $2 million in 2 months time for a period of 3 months. Okay. It fears that the current interest rate will rise from its current level of 5%. Okay. So it wants to use $500,000 3-month interest rate futures to hedge the position. Okay. So now guys see, my actual borrowing amount is what? $2 million. So what is my contract size of the exchange? Contract size of exchange is only 500,000. Okay. Then I want to borrow for how many months? 3 months. Okay. And contract is also what? 3 months. So into 3 by 3. Okay. Next. Data from the futures market. March future price is so and so, and June future price is so and so. Okay. Which one should we take? Should we take the March price or should we take the June price? Correct, we'll take the March price because 25th January plus 3 months. 25th January plus 3 months. So we'll take the March futures price. Okay. So March futures price, that will be your opening rate. Opening rate is what? 94.90. Okay. And then closing rate they will give in the required section. Calculate the result of relevant futures hedge on the assumption that interest rate have risen to 7%. Interest rate have risen to 7%. So actual interest rate from 5% it has gone to what? 7%. So in our last step, when we pay interest, we'll pay interest at what? 7%. Correct, we'll pay interest rate at 7%. So I have paid 2% extra, right? That loss of 2% I'll hedge by using what? I'll hedge by using this future prices. Okay, so future prices move to what? Move to 92.90 in 2 months time. Okay, so I open the position at 94.9. I have closed the position at 92.9. Okay, let us do it then. So I'll continue in my Word file only then. I'll continue here only. Okay. So step 1, we have to decide what? We have to decide whether to buy futures or sell futures. So what are we going to do? We are borrowing the money. If we are borrowing the money means what? We are going to sell futures. Correct. Open the position by selling the futures. Done. Step 2, number of contracts. What is the contract amount? Contract amount was $2 million. Correct, $2 million divided by exchange is having what? Exchange is having only $500,000. Okay, into 3 by 3. Correct, into 3 by 3. Okay, so number of contracts is what? 4 contracts. Exactly 4 contracts. Exactly 4 contracts. Step 3, choose the expiry month. So which is the expiry month? March month. March month. So in short, we have opened the position. We have opened the position by selling the futures. Selling the futures at. So what was the March rate then? 94.90. Correct. So here only you can write 94.90. 94.90. So we have opened the position by selling the futures at 94.90 with 4 contracts. Correct, with 4 contracts. With 4 contracts. Done. Correct. No initial margin. The problem does not have initial margin, but you know what to do. You know what to do in case of initial margin, right? Okay, now step 5. Step 5 will got close the position. If we had opened the position by selling the contract, we'll close the position by buying the futures. Close the position by buying the futures. Buying the futures at what rate? They have given the rate. Buying the futures at what was the rate? 92 point last. The futures prices moved to 92.90 in 2 months time at 92 point, sorry 90, 92.90. Okay. No problem till here. Now comes our important step. So see, in anywhere in the problem, have they given the face value? They have not given the face value. Have they given that tick value? They have not given that tick value. Correct? We'll have to calculate that. Okay. So tell me, what will be the face value? Correct. Face value will be 100 because it is somewhere around 94 and 92. So obviously face value cannot be 150. Face value will be 100. Okay. I want, difference is 2. Correct. Difference will be 2. See, I want as per the contract. Okay. This is very important. Why into face value? The logic of face value I am telling you. Okay. Exchange says that futures valuation is around 94. The market value is around 94. Okay. But contract will always be on face value. Like share premium will always charge on face value, right? So here also that profit or loss will always charge on face value. Per contract, we'll charge it per contract. So on face value. So first, what we'll do? First calculate this ticks per contract. Ticks per contract will be what? Ticks per contract will be difference between opening and closing. So that will be 94.90 minus 92.90. So profit or loss? Will it be profit or loss? Profit, because we are sold at higher and we have bought back at lower. Correct? And into 200. Into 100. Into face value will be 100 because I want per contract. I want per contract. So into 100. So that will be 200 will be my profit. 200 will be my profit. Okay, so that is what? That is my ticks per contract. Tick value will be what? Contract says. Okay, what was my contract says? 500,000. Okay, 500,000 into what is my contract period is 3 months. So that is per annum, right? So that is 3 by 12 because this percentage will be per annum. Any percentage is always per annum. So into 3 by 12 and into 0.01%. So that will be 0.0001. Is it? So that will be what? 12.125 or 12.5? Let me just check again. 12.5, no? Correct. So that will be 12.5. Okay, Purnima, the doubt is 200 profit per contract or overall? Per contract. 200 is profit per contract. Because we have taken at face value, right? Face value means what? Per share, per contract. Okay, per debenture. That is your face value concept. So this will be $12.5. This will be $200. Okay. So now calculate the profit. So profit will be what? Profit will be profit equal to ticks per contract. Ticks per contract is 200. Okay. Into tick value is 12.5. And into number of contracts is 4. Correct. So technically for 4 contracts, profit would be 800. But 800 into what? 800 into the tick value. Okay, 800 into the tick value. Because if for borrowing, if we are borrowing, here what we are going to do? Here we are going to sell. If we are selling, we'll have what? We'll have that additional profit. So that is how much? That comes out to 200 into 12.5. So 10,000 is it? $10,000. So my profit is $10,000. So due to that futures, I have gained $10,000. Okay. So how much I have lost? Let us see in step 6. I had not entered into FRA, so I'll have to pay interest at market rate. So what has the market rate gone to? Market rate has gone to 7%, right? So that will be $2 million. $2 million into 7% into 3 by 12. Correct? That is the interest paid or received. It is interest paid, right? Borrowed. So it is interest paid. So $2 million into 7% into 3 by 12. $35,000. $35,000. Correct. And profit or loss will be what? 2 million. Sorry, not 2 million. We are already calculated that $10,000 profit. $10,000 profit. Okay. So my contract amount will be what? Contract amount will be $25,000. Contract amount will be $25,000. Is this clear? Okay, now tell me one thing. Have I gained or lost on this entire entering into IRF? Have I gained or lost? Not just futures. I am asking about the entire contract. I have neither profit nor loss. I'll tell you how. I had taken a loan at what? $2 million into 5% into 3 by 12. Correct. But due to fluctuation, it has gone to what? $2 million into 7% into 3 by 12. So I'm paying additional interest of 2%. So 2 million into additional interest of 2% into 3 by 12. How much that comes to? $10,000. Correct. So there was a loss of $10,000 due to fluctuation, and that loss has been nullified by what? Profit as per futures of $10,000. So that is hedging. That is how I have hedged against my interest rate fluctuation. So if you understood. Any doubt in IRF? This is slightly better than futures. Futures what? This is futures only, no? This futures only. Interest rate future. Okay, like foreign exchange. Correct. Because see, foreign exchange future, we are always concerned with foreign exchange fluctuations, right? And foreign exchange fluctuation, RBI cannot have the control on. Okay. Here there is only one central bank. Here there is only RBI. So here we can nullify the entire this entire loss of additional interest paid. That entire loss can be nullified. Okay. In foreign exchange future, we can only reduce the loss. We cannot totally avoid the loss. Okay. But here we can totally avoid the loss. Okay. We can totally nullify because there is only one central bank. Here also we can have overhedging or underhedging. Here also we can have overhedging or underhedging. But again, what is the benefit? Since there is central bank, we know how much our country's central bank is going to have the contract size. Correct? Okay. So our contract size will always match with our currency. And generally there will not be any underhedging or overhedging. And see, even if there is underhedging or overhedging, what we are going to do? only the hedged amount will compare here, will compare only the hedged amount. Correct? Here will compare only the hedged amount. Okay, and unhedged amount will just go with what? FRAs or IRG. Unhedged amount will go with FRAs or IRG. Okay, any other doubt? Done. So IRF is done. So tomorrow we'll start with interest rate options. That is very easy. Okay, because see, now you already know whether to use call option or put option. If you are borrowing, means you are what? Selling futures means what? I can say put options. Correct, no? Number of contracts remains same. Instead of paying initial margin, we'll pay the premium. Okay, and this also remains same. Profit or loss, that also remains same. Okay, just we will not take the difference, we'll take whichever is beneficial for us. So tomorrow we'll do that. So options and callers, that we'll have to do tomorrow. Okay, options and callers we'll have to do tomorrow. And then a little bit theoretical part is also remaining about your Islamic finance, hardly 5 to 10 minutes, that will do. And there's also new concept of initial coin offering, that also we will do. Okay, so by tomorrow I think we can finish off our syllabus. By tomorrow we can finish off our syllabus. Okay, so we'll end the meeting today. Tomorrow same time.